Partnerships can either propel you to success or sink your business faster than you can say, handshake deal. Today, we're diving deep into the world of business partnerships. Is it the right move to get to that elusive next level, or could it be the biggest mistake you make? Imagine bringing someone in who promises the moon only to find out that they're barely lifting a finger. How do you avoid this nightmare? And if you do find yourself in this mess, what do you do? We're unpacking it all, from the best partnerships that changed industries forever to the red flags you need to watch out for. Stick around, because by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to choose the right partner, when to walk away, and how to protect yourself from the start. You're smart, you're motivated, you want to do something big. You're on the verge of being a young boss, and we're going to help you get there. I'm your host, Isabel Garino, and welcome to the Young Boss Podcast, where youth is your power. Let me ask you a question. What would be the point in partnering with somebody if they didn't bring any extra value to the business? Think about that in terms of relationships. What's the point of being with somebody if they didn't add value, spark joy, or weren't even fun to be around? That doesn't make much sense, does it? It's the same thing in business, but in business, it's more cutthroat. I'm partnering with somebody in business because they have something my business lacks and needs. And at the end of the day, that boils down to two things: money and relationships, or connections. I'm partnering to support and scale. And if the partner has money they want to invest, that could be your ticket to getting the business to where you know it can be. And if the partner has relationships and connections in different markets, that's another quick way to scale and grow. The same principles that apply to building your internal team apply to picking a partner. Do not partner with somebody who has the exact same skills, resources, and connections as you. Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, have more or different skills than you. The best partner is a partner that's reliable and complements what you're already doing, but somebody who's going to add strength where you are weak. When you partner with someone who's similar to you, you end up unnecessarily splitting profits with somebody who's bringing the exact same skills that you already have. And you could be doing it alone and making even more, so there's seriously no point in doing that. A lot of people want to go into business with their best friend, but they and their best friend have the exact same skills. And so it really is more of a comfort zone thing than it is a financially beneficial thing to you and your best friend. Just because you're besties doesn't necessarily mean that you want to split the rest of your income for the rest of your life, right? When you could be doing it on your own and they could be doing it on their own. Eventually, one of you may end up doing more work than the other, and there could become a lot of resentment. And now your best friendship turns into, we don't actually want or need or like each other, when if you just went at this alone, you could have saved the friendship and been making more money. Let's talk about some of the more recent successful partnerships and why they have worked. The first one is a partnership between two people, two iconic people, Steve and Steve. Jobs and Wozniak. You see, Wozniak had what Jobs needed, and Jobs had what Wozniak needed. Jobs was the visionary. He had all the big, great ideas, but he wasn't actually able to create them and to figure out how to get them to work. And that's where Wozniak came in. He was that technical genius, the doer, the integrator, right? For a relationship like this to work, each of them had to have some level of understanding and respect for what each other was doing and what each other was capable of. Pretty incredible. Another partnership that you might be aware of is with a business and a person, Nike and Michael Jordan. This partnership between a beautiful brand, a brand we all know and love, and an iconic athlete, it changed the sneaker space forever. And at the time of the deal, Nike was no more than a really good track shoe. They were dying to get into basketball and other sports, but Adidas dominated that space, and Nike needed Michael Jordan, believe it or not. And Michael Jordan needed Nike too. If he had gone to Adidas, he would have just been another basketball athlete on their roster. But at Nike, MJ was the guy. Like, he was it. And he remains the guy. Still to this day, Jordan sneakers account for over a tenth of Nike's revenue in 2023. You know, a partnership between two businesses that just makes damn sense: GoPro and Red Bull. This partnership is based on storytelling and brand exposure through content creation. Red Bull's been a leader in the action sport sponsorship and content creation since I can remember. And GoPro, they're the unofficial official camera of action sports athletes. This is one of those partnerships that's natural and authentic, and it really doesn't even need to be explained. The point I'm trying to get across is there are different types of partnerships, and partnerships manifest out of many different reasons, from necessity to diversification to exploration and expansion. Sometimes you might end up asking yourself, do I need a partner? Am I ready for a partner? Sometimes you do need one because to get to that next level, you don't have what it takes to get there, and you need to partner with someone who can help you get there. This may be a temporary partner or a more long-term partner. You may be selling a piece of your business to someone who can really help launch you to that next level. Or you may be able to hire someone on for this. There's so many answers to this question, but if you're starting to ask yourself that, then you need to start asking these questions. What does your ideal partner even look like? What are their weaknesses? And how do you know that you have the strength to partner with them and those two together can really take it to the next level? What values in the partner are going to be most important to you? Are you looking for relationships or money or reputation? Do you need their knowledge and experience? Or what information and new markets they have access to? Asking yourself those questions can really help you create a list of what a successful partnership would look like and what key elements you are looking for. Because at the end of the day, you need to find a partner who complements your weaknesses. And you want to focus on a value add partner and what they're going to bring to the table, what network, what expertise, what financial backing or unique capabilities that they have. Your ideal partnership really needs to be win-win. And if it's not, don't even go into it, because each partner needs to be grateful for what the other one brings. Also consider that when you're thinking, do I need a partner? Should I be bringing a partner in? How are you going to benefit that person? They have a problem too, and you should be bringing them a solution just as much as they're bringing you a solution. It's got to be win-win for everyone. In my own business, I'm going to break it down for you. I'll ask those questions to myself. What does my ideal partner look like? Well, right now, to take us to the next level, we would need a mass amount of money. Money where we could add a real estate component, where we're actually buying the homes that could be turned into residential assisted living homes. So finding a partner that has a big, huge checkbook, let's say $100 million, where they say, yup, I'll help you buy 100 of these care homes. We can renovate them and then lease them out to your students. That would be the perfect partner for me in my business. And when we talk about what are their weaknesses or what are my weaknesses, my weakness right now is that all of the capital we're using to reinvest back into our business. So if I had to go at this alone, it would take me a lot more time and energy to get there. If I could utilize their strength, then there we go. What am I bringing to the table, though, to supplement their weakness? They may have money, but I've got the list. I've got the list of people who are looking to get into this business and who want to have those homes. And so I have the people, they have the money. This is that perfect partnership. Now, what I'm looking for is a great reputation, definitely knowledge and experience of this brand and this information, and ability to get into a new market that I don't necessarily have. So even when I'm looking at my own business, I like to ask myself those different questions so that I can look out for that right partnership. So when I'm in a mastermind or I'm in a group of people, I can start having those conversations with the intention of, might this be the right person for me? Are they wanting what I have? And more importantly, right, for my own self, do they have what I need, what I want? And it helps me garner those relationships and ask better questions and hang on to conversations and relationships with people who may be that perfect partner or may lead me down the right path to find that perfect partner.
Hey everyone, I want to share something that has truly changed my charging game. It's the 360 electrical. When I got this cord, oh my goodness, you guys, I'm always in need of a quick charge, whether I'm on the go in the car or at the airport. I want to be able to plug it in and 15 minutes later be on full battery, and that's exactly what this has done for me. It delivers 240 watts of ultra fast charging, so you're back to full battery in no time. It is perfect for those last last minute travel emergencies. It's got a super long cord and it doesn't fray. It keeps everything nice and tidy, super easy to travel with, take with you on the road. So if you want to grab yours today, head to 360electrical.com and use promo code YoungBoss for 20% off your order. Now, back to the show.
Now, while it's great to have your ideal partner profile laid out and at the forefront of your mind, not everybody ends up being the person that they portrayed themselves to be when the profits and the cash were on the table at the beginning. It's unfortunate, but it happens more often than not. To simply put it, do not be naive. I want to warn you about some common scenarios that take place in the partnership world of business. First, partners will oftentimes not deliver on their promises. This can be a really icky, hard thing to deal with, but you could be looking for signs, maybe right up front in your first initial meetings with them. If they say, hey, I'm going to follow up with you on this, that, or the other, or I'll get that contract to you by end of day today, and they don't, that's a sign right there. That could be a red flag right there. Maybe they're not someone who follows through. Or if you're saying, hey, we need this done this way. Can you sign this? Can you look at this? If you've assigned something to them, and again, they haven't fulfilled on it or done it in the way that you wanted or needed, maybe there's miscommunications happening. If you're on the wrong side of partnership, you are going to have to take the high road. And I want to tip you off to a few things to keep in mind as you do look to rectify a bad situation. First, you need to communicate incredibly clearly. You might as well over communicate. Be so freaking communicative that there's not even a shadow of doubt on who said what, when, and what your expectations are. Secondly, renegotiation is always an option. You may get into partnership with someone and they promise that they're going to be responsible for doing XYZ, and as the relationship carries on, they're not doing any of that. Okay, you need to come back to the table and communicate, and because it was written down, you're able to say, hey, look, you've said you're going to do all of these things. These things have not been done or not done on time or not done correctly, whatever it is. We're going to have a renegotiation here because this just isn't going to work in the long run. And if you can have that conversation up front and kind of get that elephant out of the room, you get choices then. The choice is that they say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, or this slipped or whatever. Now you can have a conversation about what that can look like going forward. It also kind of gives you that first here's our first fight or our first conversation, your first mark, right? Okay, this isn't working for me. So it's not coming out of left field when a year later you say, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's break off the partnership or let's renegotiate and your percentage is decreasing significantly. You need to have those meetings. You can't just sit there with growing resentment saying, oh, they don't do anything, oh, complaining here and there. You have to have those conversations. So write it down, have the meeting, have it recorded. But third, you always need a fire escape. You need an exit strategy. When you start into a partnership, you need to make sure that, you have an exit strategy, whether this is with your partner or not. But if you're scheming just by yourself, you may want to lay this out, because when you're going into business with someone, you want things to go well, right? You want things to work out. And so have an exit plan that makes sense for all of you, but you also always need to plan a backup plan for yourself. We've talked about this before when it comes to raising capital, hiring and firing people, and it's of equal importance when it comes to partnerships, and that is paperwork. Ink on paper always wins. You must have proper legal agreements signed and in place from the jump. The rules must be laid out in legal documents. Terms and conditions do in fact apply, okay? They do in fact matter. And it doesn't matter if this person is your best friend, your brother, or your mom. I don't care. I have had plenty of times where we've had some sort of handshake agreement or we've said something in a meeting, but nothing was signed, nothing was documented. And guess who got screwed over? Every time, me, right? So it's one of those situations, I'm telling you from experience, get everything on paper. It will make your life so much easier. And that brings me back to the good old-fashioned handshake deal, okay? I've done them, I am guilty, but what once worked back in the day when, people were, let's just say, a tiny bit more trustworthy than they are today, it doesn't work now. There's always going to be snakes in the grass. One of my friends, her dad has been a business owner the entire time that I've had a friendship with her, which is now, oh my gosh, we've known each other since we were 12 years old, okay? And we're sitting at, dinner the other day, and I said, "How are your parents?" And she goes, "Oh my gosh, you're never gonna believe it." Her dad had left the company he started to go into business with one of his best friends. Well, his best friend filed a lawsuit against him to try to take over the entire business from him, steal it back, all because it was a handshake deal. Nothing was written down because they were best friends. And his best friend has now stolen her dad's entire business. Mind you, her dad had been doing the work the whole time. He'd been out on vacations, golfing, doing this, doing that, living off of the income. And her dad's getting completely screwed. Now, of course, they're going to go into a lawsuit and hopefully her dad will win. But it's just one of those situations where now they're headed down a 2-3 year lawsuit path where he's not going to be making income. He just lost his best friend and everybody's getting screwed over. I'm telling you, handshake deals are not the way to go. So if you even have one right now and it's been going well for you, great. Then what's the harm in going back to that person and saying, "Hey, here's a contract. I know we didn't have one before, but I just wanted to make sure that we get all the agreements on paper and I'm cleaning up before, the year and whatever it is." Like, make some excuse of why you need this, but get everything documented. Listen, no matter the relationship, you have to put ink to paper. All parties must sign and agree. When it comes to the key elements of a strong partnership agreement, both of your job descriptions should be laid out. Equities should be laid out. Ownership should be laid out. What happens in the event of death or divorce, which we'll get into in a second. But all of these different things need to be line item gone through. We actually have a document, 94 questions to discuss before partnering with someone. Maybe we'll be able to put it in the show notes, but it's a great document that I always encourage people to go through when they are entering into partnership with someone, because it's kind of like one of those little books or questions, or now people do cards where it's the questions to ask before you get married. It's like one of those, but for business. You need to treat this just like a marriage. Like, you are going into a money relationship with someone where your income, your brand, your reputation is going to be very heavily tied to them and their reputation and their brand. And so all of these things must be discussed, okay? You want to discuss ownership shares. Who's making what and how are they going to earn that? What are each of your roles and responsibilities in the business? How do you settle disputes and disagreements? What's the plan for a mutual exit strategy? What's the plan if one of you wants to exit? You need to treat this like the prenup of your business marriage. It's not personal, it's business. But listen, all business is personal, okay? I say this to people all the time. I say this phrase, "I trust you, I don't trust your spouse's lawyer." You feel me? Death and divorce, the 2 Ds. These are often the death of many businesses. The way I see it, that's because it was never actually talked about what happens or what you do when one of these things occurs. And it's actually ridiculous. Treat your business like a baby. Safeguard it. Safeguard yourself. This is your livelihood. This is your baby. You're not going into business for funsies. You're going into business because you care. You're trying to do something to change your life and change your situation. So protect it. Now that we've gotten through the thick of partnerships and discussed some of the ugly side of it, a partnership, it can actually be a really beautiful thing. And like we discussed earlier, there are many brands, people, and founders who have found astounding success through strategic partnerships. Remember, a strategy equals success, and the best partnerships for entrepreneurs and small business owners can alleviate pressure. It can provide support in the business, whether it's cash or connections. Partnerships also foster creativity. They introduce new angles, perspectives, strategies, and so on, but it's incredibly important to partner for the right reasons. In some of my past partnerships, not only has it taken so many things off of my plate, but it's helped launch me into different levels or different markets that I would have never been able to go to because I didn't understand those different nuances. But the person I brought in and the person I started working with, they knew exactly where to go and how to take us. It's really one of those things that you want to go into this partnership with the right reasons. The wrong reasons would be that, hey, you are the only one who is set to benefit from this and they're not going to gain anything from this. Honestly, that's just selfish. Do something where you're helping them and they're helping you. One of the right reasons to go into partnership would be you're stuck. You're at a plateau and you need to get to that next level. And to get there, working with someone and leveraging their skills, their resources, their connections, their, financial situation can really help. And hopefully it's helping both of you, right? Partnerships need to be equal on both sides, because all of this I'm saying to you, it could be the same thing and I'm telling your partner and they're saying, they don't help me with anything. Don't do that. This isn't just to take stuff off your plate and make you $1 million overnight. You have to bring something too. But listen, all the partnerships we discussed, Steve and Steve, MJ and Nike, and even GoPro and Red Bull, you could say that, oh, well, Michael doesn't do as much as Nike did. Okay. And you could say the vice versa of the same. It's never going to be this perfectly equal thing where everyone's bringing the exact same thing to the market. That's not how this works. It's always going to feel a little bit off, a little bit different, a little bit, well, I'm bringing this, that. And that's why having it laid out is going to save you in the long run. Partnerships, they can truly be your greatest asset or one of your biggest liabilities. The right partner can fill the gaps you can't fill on your own. They can drive growth and make the journey a lot less lonely. But the wrong one, it can drain your resources, waste your time, and leave you in a mess that you never saw coming and that you weren't prepared for. So take your time, be strategic, and don't settle for less than what you need. It's not just about finding any partner. It's about finding the right partner, the one who complements your strengths, shares your vision, and has the integrity to stick around when things get tough. And above all, put it in writing. Protect yourself, your business, and your future. So whether you're just starting to think about a partnership or you're already in one, keep those insights close, be smart, be cautious, and most importantly, be prepared. After all, in the game of business, a great partnership is more than just a handshake. It's a carefully crafted strategy for success. Thanks for listening to another episode of Young Boss with Isabel Garino. Be sure to like, share, and follow on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe on Spotify and YouTube, and let us know, are you ready for a partner? See you next time. Remember, youth is your power.